2014. I stood crying in front of strangers and friends alike. A fire crackled behind me. The lake was silent, as if in recognition of the memorial I spoke. A canoe, given in remembrance of Mr. Tom Laymeyer, a sad substitute for the great man it symbolized. I didn't know Mr. Laymeyer very personally. I didn't need to, though. Everyone he ever met, he loved unconditionally. He was one of those once-in-a-lifetime people who genuinely cared about someone just because they were there, and that's what you're supposed to do. He greeted you with a hug and a smile, even if it was the first time you had ever met. It's just what he did. I couldn't believe I was standing there in front of all these people, talking about him in the past tense. I believe in Mr. Laymeyer. I believe in who he was and how he lived. Mr. Laymeyer had every right to close up, to only think about himself. His life was far from easy. At 16, he secretly ran his troop as scoutmaster, recruiting the local janitor to sign the papers. He fought on the Pacific Front as a radio man in World War II. He listened as one of his best friends slowly died only 100 feet away, unable to break formation and risk letting the enemy sneak by. His grandson, a boy he spent years camping with, a boy he loved as much as humanly possible, died in a motorcycle accident. His wife of just under 61 years passed before him. Despite so much loss and struggle, he never stopped smiling. He never stopped giving his all to us, his scouts. He knew all 70 of us in our troop, and when he came, everyone got a hug. He asked us how we were, what we were up to in scouts and in life. He cared. He really cared. Scouting wasn't the only place I saw Mr. Laymeyer. We both attended the Catholic Church. He sat in the same place, right up front, every time. Our religious ed classes used to cheer when he would sub because we knew we were in for some great stories. We might not have realized that they all had a lesson about life in them, but he knew. He always had a point. He was the model Christian, but he would never let you say that. He was a pillar of our faith community, quick to prayer and quick to action, as willing to lecture as he was to sit quietly and pray over someone in need. He was who any Christian and any scout would want to be. I stood in front of that campfire of people and tried to explain it all. But you can't put someone so kind, so genuine, so utterly admirable into simple words. Mr. Laymeyer is my hero and my role model. If I can live half the life he lived, I would be happy and proud. Mr. Laymeyer taught me the most important lessons of my life. He taught me simple principles to live by, not through a lecture or written laws, but by the way he lived. I believe the same beliefs that Mr. Laymeyer believed. I believe in the way he lived. I believe in leaving every person you meet a little happier, a little kinder, and above all, a little closer to his fellow man.